Good evening, everyone. It's Lisa here with Hillcrest. Thank you for joining me tonight. I hope everyone had a fantastic day today. Outside, being safe, being healthy, maybe trying something new. Just kind of gearing up for what's happening at the end of the month. I hope everyone is getting excited that some changes are happening. So I hope we're all doing well. So tonight I have two books. So the first one I have is called The Grouchy Mom. This one is by Rebecca Venture. And then I also have another Dr. Seuss book, which is Horton Hears a Who, which is a good classic one. So I'll go ahead and get started with the first one. So please listen along. This one is called The Grouchy Mom. Today, my mom woke up on the wrong side of the bed. From the moment she got up, she was grouchy. Oh my. But it looks like mom has 3 little kiddos to take care of. Oh my. At breakfast time, mom made my favorite pancakes and eggs. But before I could even take one bite, I noticed that syrup was touching my eggs. And even though my breakfast was ruined, she was grouchy. I'm not sure about that. Oh boy. My socks had lumps in them, and my shoes were too tight, and my tag was itching me, but for some reason, she was grouchy. Then at snack time, she told me not to bring my drink to the carpet. As I turned around to bring it back to the table, it spilled. And even though she told me to do it, she was grouchy. That's no good. I tried to cheer her up by drawing her a beautiful picture, but it made her even more grouchy. That is a cool picture, but I think it's just in the wrong spot. Definitely don't want to be drawing on the walls. My mom says baby brother is teething, and he has been fussing all day. Maybe mom is getting a new tooth. I don't think that would make her grouchy. At bath time, I was barely splashing, and even though I only got a little water on the floor, she was grouchy. Oh boy. Because I wonder who has to clean that up. Oh my. Dad called mom and said he would be a little late coming home. I was excited he would be home soon, but it didn't help mom's mood at all. No. Mom looks like she has her hands full. At bedtime, I was so thirsty and I wanted to hear one more story, but mom seemed to be more grouchy than ever. I think mom just looks a little tired today. After she tucked me in, I remembered what mom does to help me when I'm grouchy. So I called mom back to my room. I wonder what that could be. As she sat on my bed, I gave her a big hug and told her how happy I am that she is my mommy. She smiled and told me how much she loves me, and she kissed me goodnight. Well, that is very sweet. That definitely does make moms happy. And I think she just needed some rest. Oh, looks like mom fell asleep in her bed. It's quite the long, busy day. And I don't think mom was grouchy at all. She just had a lot to do. So I think that's very sweet. And the next story we have tonight is Horton Hears a Who, in my big Dr. Seuss book. So here we go. On the 15th of May, in the jungle of Newell, in the heat of the day, in the cool of the pool, he was splashing, enjoying the jungle's great joys, when Horton the elephant heard a small noise. So Horton stopped splashing. He looked toward the sound. That's funny, thought Horton. There's no one around. Then he heard it again, just a very faint yelp, as if some tiny person were calling for help. I'll help you, said Horton. But who are you? Where? He looked and looked. He could see nothing there but a small speck of dust blowing past the air. You see a very small speck right there. Oh, and it came right up to his eye. I say, murmured Horton, I've never heard tell of a small speck of dust that is able to yell. So you know what I think? Why, I think that there must be someone on top of that small speck of dust. Some sort of creature of very small size, too small to be seen by an elephant eyes. Some poor little person who's shaking with fear that'll blow in the pool. He has no way to steer. I'll just have to save him, because after all, a person's a person, no matter how small. We can see just a very small person on that tiny speck of dust. So, gently and using the greatest of care, the elephant stretched his great trunk through the air, and he lifted the dust speck and carried it over and placed it down safe on a very soft clover. Humph, humphed a voice. 'Twas a sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said humph, too. Why, that speck is as small as the head of a pin. A person on that? Why, there never has been. Believe me, said Horton, I'll tell you sincerely. My ears are quite keen, and I heard him quite clearly. I know there's a person down there, and what's more, quite likely there's two, even three, even four. Quite likely a family, for all that we know, a family with children just starting to grow. So please, Horton said, as a favor to me, try not to disturb them. Just please let them be. I think you're a fool, laughed the sour kangaroo, and the young kangaroo in her pouch said, Me too. You're the biggest blame fool in the jungle of Newell. And the kangaroos plunged into the cool of the pool. What terrible splashing, the elephant frowned. I can't let my very small persons get drowned. I've got to protect them. I'm bigger than they. So he plucked up the clover and hustled away. Through the high jungle treetops, the news quickly spread. He talks to a dust speck? He's out of his head. Just look at him walk with that speck on that flower. And Horton walked worrying almost an hour. Should I put this speck down? Horton thought with alarm. If I do, these small persons may come to great harm. I can't put it down. I won't. After all, a person's a person, no matter how small. Then Horton stopped walking. The speck voice was talking. The voice was so faint he could just barely hear it. Speak up, please, said Horton. He put his ear near it. My friend, came the voice, you're a very fine friend. You've helped all us folks on this dust speck no end. You've saved all our houses, our ceilings and floors. You've saved all our churches and grocery stores. Oh boy. You mean, Horton gasped, you have buildings there too? Oh, yes, piped the voice. We most certainly do. I know, called the voice. I'm too small to be seen, but I'm mayor of a town that is friendly and clean. Our buildings to you would seem terribly small, but to us who aren't big, they are wonderfully tall. My town is called Whoville, for I am a Who, and we Whos are all thankful and grateful to you. And Horton called back to the mayor of the town, "You're safe now. Don't worry. I won't let you down." That is a neat little town they have there. But just as he spoke to the mayor of the speck, three big jungle monkeys climbed up Horton's neck. The Wickershaw brothers came shouting, "What rot! This elephant's talking to who's who are not. They aren't any who's, and they don't have a mayor, and we're going to stop all this nonsense. So there." Oh, they're trying to grab the flower. Oh no. They snatched Horton's clover. They carried it off to a black-bottom eagle named Vladikov, a mighty strong eagle, a very swift wing. And they said, "Will you kindly get rid of this thing?" And before the poor elephant could even speak, that eagle flew off with the flower in his beak. All that late afternoon and far into the night, that black-bottomed bird flapped his wings in fast flight, while Horton chased after with groans over stones that tattered his toenails and battered his bones, and begged, "Please don't harm all my little folks, who have as much right to live as us bigger folks do." But far, far beyond him, that eagle kept flapping, and over his shoulder called back, "Quit your yapping. I'll fly the night through. I am a bird, I don't mind it, and I'll hide this tomorrow where you'll never find it." Oh no. And at 6:56 the next morning he did. It sure was a terrible place that he hid it. He let that small clover drop somewhere inside of a great patch of clovers 100 miles wide. "Find that," sneered the bird, "but I think you will fail." And he left with a flip of his black-bottomed tail. "I'll find it," cried Horton. "I'll find it or bust. I shall find my friends on my small speck of dust." And clover by clover with care, he picked up and searched them and called, "Are you there?" But clover by clover he found that no one he sought for was just not around. And by noon poor old Horton, more dead than alive, had picked, searched, and piled up 9,005. Then on through the afternoon, hour after hour, till he found them at last on the 3 millionth flower. "My friends," cried the elephant, "tell me, do tell, are you safe? Are you sound? Are you whole? Are you well?" Goodness, I cannot believe he found that. From down on the speck came the voice of the mayor. "We've really had trouble, much more than our share, when that black-bottomed birdie let go and we dropped. We landed so hard that our clocks have all stopped. Our teapots are broken, our rocking chairs smashed, and our bicycle tires all blew up when we crashed. So Horton, please," pleaded that voice of the mayor's, "will you stick by us who's while we're making repairs?" "Of course," Horton answered. "Of course I will stick. I'll stick by you small folks through thin and through thick." "Humph," humped a voice. "For almost 2 days you've run wild and insisted on chatting with persons who've never existed. Such carryings on in our peaceable jungle. We've had quite enough of your bellowing bungle. And I'm here to state," snapped the big kangaroo, "that your silly nonsensical game is all through." And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me too." But those kangaroos just don't understand. With the help of the Wickershaw brothers and dozens of Wickershaw uncles and Wickersham cousins, Wickersham in-laws, whose help I've engaged, you're going to be roped and you're going to be caged. And as for your dust speck, that we shall boil in a hot steaming kettle of bezel nut oil. Oh no. "Boil it," gasped Horton. "Oh, that you can't do. It's full of persons. They'll prove it to you." Mr. Mayor, Horton called. Mr. Mayor, you've got to prove now that you really are there. So call a big meeting, get everyone out. Make every who holler, make every who shout, make every who scream. If you don't, every who is going to end up in a bezelnut stew. Oh no, that is not good. Got to save the who's. And down on the dustback, the scared little mayor quick called a big meeting in Whoville Town Square. And as people cried loudly, they cried out in fear, "We are here! We are here! We are here! We are here!" The elephant smiled. "That was clear as a bell. You kangaroos surely heard that very well." "All I heard," snapped the big kangaroo, "was the breeze and the faint sound of wind through the far distant trees. I heard no small voices, and you didn't either." And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, "Me neither." I wonder why that is. "Grab him," they shouted, "and cage the big dope. Lasso his stomach with 10 miles of rope. Tie the knots tight so he'll never shake loose. Then dunk that dumb speck in the bezelnut juice." Horton fought back with great vigor and vim, but the Wickersham gang was too many for him. They beat him, they mauled him, they started to haul him into his cage, but he managed to call to the mayor, "Don't give up, I believe in you all. A person's a person, no matter how small. And you very small persons will not have to die if you make yourselves heard, so come on now and try." The mayor grabbed a tom-tom. He started to smack it, and all over Whoville they whooped up a racket. They rattled tin kettles, they beat on brass pans, on garbage pail tops and cranberry cans. They blew on bazookas and blasted great toots, on clarinets, oompas, and boompas, and flutes. It's a lot of instruments to try to make as much noise as possible. Great gusts of loud racket rang high through the air. They rattled and shook the whole sky, and the mayor called up through the howling mud hullabaloo, "Hey, Horton, how's this? Is our sound coming through?" And Horton called back, "I can hear you just fine, but the kangaroo's ears aren't as strong, quite as mine. They don't hear a thing. Are you sure all your boys are doing their best? Are they all making noise? Are you sure every who down in Whoville is working? Quick, look through your town. Is there anyone shirking?" Through the town rushed the mayor from the east to the west, but everyone seemed to be doing his best. Everyone seemed to be yapping or yipping. Everyone seemed to be beeping or bipping, but it wasn't enough. All the ruckus and roar. He had to find someone to help him make more. He raced through each building. He searched floor to floor. Have to find every who. And just as he felt he was getting nowhere and almost about to give up in despair, he suddenly burst through a door, and that mayor discovered one shirker quite hidden away in the Fairfax Apartments, apartment 12J. A very small shirker named Jojo was just standing and bouncing a yo-yo, not making a sound, not a yip, not a chirp. And the mayor rushed inside and he grabbed the young twerp. And he climbed with the lad up the Eiffelberg Tower. "This," cried the mayor, "is your town's darkest hour, the time for all who have blood that is red, to come to the aid of their country," he said. "You've got to make noise in greater amounts, so open your mouth, lad, for every voice counts." Thus he spoke as he climbed. When they got to the top, the lad cleared his throat and he shouted, "Yop!" I hope that was loud enough. And that yop, that one small extra yop, put it over. Finally, at last, from that speck on that clover, their voices were heard. They rang out clear and clean, and the elephant smiled. "Do you see what I mean? They've proved they are persons, no matter how small, and their whole world was saved by the smallest of all." "How true, yes, how true," said the big kangaroo. "And from now on, you know what I'm planning to do? From now on, I'm going to protect them with you. And the young kangaroo in her pouch said, me too. From sun in the summer, from rain when it's fallish, I'm going to protect them, no matter how smallish. So it took just that one little extra voice to put it over the top. How neat. So when you get everyone together, you can make big things happen. So I like that one. That was Horton Hears a Who. And I hope you enjoyed both books and listening. So, and that's all I have. So tonight, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great tomorrow. And until next time, thank you.